So I've been to movies that were completely empty in the theater, except for me and maybe a couple other people, but never on opening weekend. Hey there, Internet Best Buddies, and welcome back to the channel. As always, I'm Ray, and today we're going to be looking at Hellboy from this year. So Hellboy is a reboot of the movie franchise that's based on the comics, and it's mixed. But while I have you here at the beginning of the video, definitely go down and subscribe so you can stay up to date with all the videos that I do put out. And the question of this video is, what other movies do you remember being on TV all the time? If you had the channel FX, it always felt like Hellboy, X2, and Mr. and Mrs. Smith were on there constantly, which, you know, is why I just put them out. After tracking down a fellow agent on the hunt for vampires, Hellboy is assigned to take out giants in England. The mission takes an unexpected turn with our hero learning about his past, as well as his apocalyptic destiny. David Harbour as Hellboy was really good. He was great. The prosthetics he wore were really good. He got in really good shape for the role too, which was awesome. His delivery and performance was fantastic. I really enjoyed him as the titular character. Is he as good as Ron Perlman? I don't know. I feel like from what I remember the first Hellboy, they're kind of different interpretations. I also really enjoyed Ian McShane as Hellboy's adoptive father, Professor Broom. He's definitely one of those actors that I enjoy seeing in just about anything, and kind of want him to adopt me as his grandson. I think that'd be fun. He seems like a cool grandpa type guy. So this movie, I feel, is absolutely made for fans of the property, and there's a lot of stuff going in here that I feel like is just going to go over the head of a lot of the average movie-going audience. For example, there's a character that shows up for literally one scene during a World War II segment, and he's played by Thomas Hayden Church, and I'm so glad I noticed that, because I was like, is that Sandman? And then on the other side, I'm like, I think so, but I can only see his face down. He was wearing goggles. But I was right, it's him. He's in there. So yeah, he's in that scene, and then after that, he's not in the movie anymore. He's in a mid-credit scene. That's about it. The only reason I understand who that character is because I literally saw a YouTube video like a few days ago about some side characters that are in the Hellboy universe. There's a lot of that in this movie. I will say that the editing is probably one of the worst parts of the movie, with the beginning sequence where they kind of explain who the villain is and set her up being absolutely terrible. Like, it was a really rough edit through that whole sequence. Once we leave that sequence, it gets better, but it's not great. So from what I remember of the other two movies, this one feels very different with the amount of gore, the amount of violence, and just how disturbing some of the sequences are. I gotta say, I was not expecting it, and I was pleasantly surprised. I rather enjoyed that aspect of it. There's literally a scene where monsters are causing destruction in England, and there's one monster that has like not spiked, but like sharp legs, like peg legs sort of, and he's just stomping around, and he's stepping on people, and people are like sliding up his leg like a kebab. It was intense. Another guy gets like ripped in half, but at the crotch. That was crazy. Is it all blatantly obvious CG? 100%. There's no getting around that. That being said, a lot of the visual effects when they're done practically, like Hellboy himself and one of the characters that shows up later in the movie, I believe for the most part is practically done. That was all really good. I really like that. Hellboy looks great. But the CG is a really weird mix of good CG to, you know, okay CG to bad CG to really bad CG. It runs the spectrum pretty much. Also, anybody else getting like a Burger King vibe from Hellboy in this picture? Because when those parts showed up on screen, I was like, man, I could use some chicken fries and French fries and a slushie. Remember they had green slushies for Shrek? That was amazing. It was just cherry, and I know that, but it was still great. The action throughout the movie I thought was really good. I really liked the last fight sequence where they're playing Kickstart the Heart by Motley Crue. That was a lot of fun, and I do wish there was more of that throughout the rest of the movie. Just like Kickstart the Heart, they do have a lot of licensed music throughout, and I thought it was pretty well implemented. I know it's not going to be for everybody. And as far as the action goes, the last thing I want to touch on is there's a really cool giant fight scene. That was fun. Clearly on a green screen, and very bad CG, but fun. So the movie does come in at a runtime of just over 2 hours, and it feels like it. It does feel long. A lot of stuff is trying to be shoved into this movie, story-wise, to set up the Hellboy character and his mythos, and a lot of it's just sloppy and kind of a mess. With all that being said, though, I mean, I had a relatively good time watching this movie. I was never really bored, I would say, and I was entertained throughout, probably along with the one other guy that was in my theater. So the movie as a whole is definitely a mixed bag, but I do think that there are some good elements in here, and I think that die-hard fans are really going to enjoy this one. Hellboy gets a 6 out of 10. So there is a mid-credit scene and an end-credit scene, and they both set up a supposed sequel that's coming. And I kind of hope we do get a sequel because despite all the movie's flaws, I still had a fun time at the theater. So yeah, that's my review of Hellboy. I didn't really have any expectations going in, and it was fun. I had some fun with it. Thanks for watching the video. It means greatly that you're continuing to watch the videos that I do put out. Like I said before, definitely go down and subscribe so you can stay up to date with all the videos I do put out. Give the video a like, share with a movie-loving friend, and let me know what other movies you saw advertised on TV constantly. Thanks for watching, everybody. See ya.